Let me paint you a picture. You're sitting at your kitchen table, phone in hand, checking your bank account for maybe the third time today. Not because something's wrong, actually, because something finally feels right. You scroll past your checking account, past your bills, and you land on that savings number. And for the first time in your adult life, it has a comma in it, maybe two. And you just stare at it, because part of you still doesn't fully believe it's real. If that's you right now, or if that's where you're trying to get, then this video is going to hit different. Because here's what nobody tells you about $50,000 saved. It's not just a number. It's not just a milestone you post about on Reddit. It is a completely different relationship with money, with risk, with your entire life. And I don't mean that in a motivational poster kind of way. I mean it in a very real, very mathematical, slightly uncomfortable kind of way. So let's talk about it. Here's the thing most people get wrong. They treat saving money like a linear process, like every dollar saved is just one more dollar added to a pile. Save $100, pile goes up $100. Save 1,000, pile goes up 1,000. And yeah, technically that's how math works. But psychologically, financially, in terms of what your money can actually do for you in the real world, it is absolutely not linear. There are these thresholds, these invisible walls, where crossing them doesn't just improve your situation, it transforms it. And $50,000 is one of the most significant walls you will ever climb over. Now, before I get into why, I want to address the people in the back who are going, "Oh, great, another finance video telling me to save money, super helpful." Look, I hear you. I genuinely do. Because the median American savings account balance right now sits at around $8,000. $8,000. The average sounds better because a handful of millionaires skew the number upward, but the median, the person right in the middle of the pack, has about $8,000. And the Federal Reserve has reported that roughly 37% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing something or selling something. $400. That's car repair. That's an emergency vet visit. That's a flight home for a family emergency. $400 would break more than a third of the country. So when I say 50,000 changes everything, I'm not saying it from some disconnected, already wealthy perspective. I'm saying it because the gap between where most people are and where 50K gets you is genuinely, almost unfairly wide. And I want you to understand exactly what's waiting on the other side. All right, let's start with the first thing that changes. And honestly, I think it's the most underrated one. Fear. Specifically, financial fear. You might not even realize how much of your daily mental energy is being consumed right now by low-grade financial anxiety. It's like background noise you've gotten so used to you don't even hear it anymore. But it's there. Every time you swipe your card and hope it goes through. Every time your boss says something slightly weird and you immediately think about your rent. Every time your car makes a funny noise and your stomach drops. That constant low-level dread of one bad thing happening and blowing up your entire financial situation, that is what $50,000 starts to silence. There's actually research on this. The Princeton study, the one done by Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, famously found that emotional well-being improves with income up to around $75,000 per year and then plateaus. And the reason is almost entirely tied to financial security, not luxury, not vacations, not fancy stuff, just the feeling that you are not one emergency away from disaster. And here's the thing about $50,000 saved specifically. It gives you that buffer, a real one, not a "I have 2 weeks of expenses saved" buffer, a genuine "you could lose your job today and not panic for 6 months." That changes how you walk through the world. It changes how you negotiate at work. It changes how you respond when life throws something at you, because suddenly you have options, and options are power. Think about it this way. Imagine 2 people. Both have the same job, same salary, same lifestyle. But one of them has $50,000 saved, and one of them has $500. Now their boss calls them both into a meeting and says, "Look, we need you to work weekends for the next 3 months, no extra pay." What happens? The person with $500 smiles, nods, and quietly dies inside. Because what are they going to do? They need that job. They are trapped. The person with 50,000, they still might say yes, maybe the job's worth it, but they say yes because they chose to, not because they're scared. That is a completely different psychological position to be in, and that difference shows up in every single area of your life. Now, let's talk about what $50,000 does to your actual money, because this is where it gets genuinely exciting. Most people think of saving as the opposite of investing, like you're either spending money, saving it, or investing it, and saving is just the boring one in the middle that doesn't do anything exciting. But here's what changes at $50,000. The math on compound interest stops being theoretical and starts being real.